What we're looking at on the screen represents the reason why almost all traders lose in the market. They can be charts, candlesticks, bars, or lines. This is the reason why most people are not consistent. The market causes losses. The reason is very simple, and I'll help you understand it with a question. Where is the money? In this chart, where is the money? Where is your money? On which side of the chart is what you need to earn? You can't figure it out, can you? Let me help you. This chart has the characteristic of having an X and a Y axis, okay? It's a bit crooked, but that's fine. On the X-axis, there's time. On the Y-axis, there's price. Now I'll ask you the same question again. Where is the money? What you need to earn, on which side of the chart is it? Can you figure it out? Where is your money? Still, I imagine you're still having some trouble. Let me give you another hint. On the X-axis, we have time. We can divide time into 3 distinct areas. What are the distinct areas of time? There is the past, the present, and the future. Do you agree? I imagine you do. Time can't really be divided into other areas unless we're talking about verb tenses. So based on what we're observing, now we have one more piece of information to better understand what we're looking at. So if we start to break down this chart, we begin to understand that if I draw an imaginary perpendicular line that intersects the current moment, assuming of course that this is a dynamic chart that keeps moving, we start to see that the line I've drawn corresponds to the present. Next, the area to the left represents the past, and the area to the right represents the future. Alright, now, based on this information, I'll ask you the same usual question again. Where is the money? Where is the money that you need to earn? Can it be in the past? Absolutely not. Because you can't make money from things that have already happened. You make money from things that are going to happen. I'll repeat it. You make money from things that are going to happen. Can you make money from things that are happening right now? No, you only make money from things that are going to happen. So, this area here is the future. I'll repeat it in case you got distracted. Time limit. This represents the current state, the present. From the present to the left, we have the past. From the present to the right, we have the future. Money is made from things that are going to happen, not from things that have already happened, not from things that are happening now, but from things that are going to happen. Now, having reached this level of awareness, I ask you to make one more small effort. Where is the money that you need to earn? In which area of the chart? They're here. Another, more important question, because we notice that the more information we acquire, the more answers we have to give. Let's start reasoning based on facts, not on what we can make up. Let's try to focus on the area where we need to make money, which is basically this area here. It's clear that if I want to make money, I need to have some information. I need at least a clue to understand where the money is, right or not. Does anyone agree with this? To make money in an area, we need to have some information, because otherwise it would be like guessing, betting on something we just imagine. Because if there is no information, it means we have no clues. We can't develop intuition if there is no information. In the area shown in this chart, and especially in the area where we need to make money, is there information available to do so? Let's try to be rational once and for all, because many people convince themselves of the nonsense they have in their heads. Just to be right, they try to admit to things that aren't true and don't exist, thinking they'll convince others, but in reality they don't even convince themselves. Based on the facts we're observing, in the area where we need to focus all our efforts, all our money, everything you want, does any information exist there? No, there isn't any. There is no information in this area. Is there any information in here? Does it exist or not? It doesn't exist. Why doesn't it exist? Because this area here, all of this area on the chart represents the future. And anyone who thinks they see things that don't exist in the current reality can simply be considered by society as a madman who needs to be tied up. It's one thing to make assumptions about the past, but if we don't have any traces, how can you make money in here? How can you do it? How can you convince yourself that in the long run you'll be successful? You have no information here. Do you realize that? Beyond the fact that just by looking at this chart, you can't even tell what kind of time frame I've loaded. It could be the 1 minute, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 10, half an hour, 4 hours. Do you understand which time frame I've shown you here? No, you don't understand. Simply because the candlestick chart is a fractal representation, meaning it projects the same image across different scales. You can't tell the difference. There is no characteristic that distinguishes the various time frames. It could be the minute, it could be the month, it could be daily. You're not able to determine these things. So it's pointless to stress or focus on this kind of information. Because this kind of information, besides being harmful, doesn't give you the most accurate information, the one you need to make money. And what is the information you need in this area? It will never be able to give it to you, and do you know why it will never be able to give it to you? Because there's time involved. This kind of representation is not suitable for the trader who wants to invest money successfully. This type of chart is used exclusively by your counterparty to make you say that at a certain time and at a certain price you entered a buy position, and then you close the trade at a certain time at a certain price at a loss, because you see it graphically, you see something from the past represented graphically. This kind of graphical representation serves your counterparty, and you don't want to understand it. You just don't want to understand it, because you might say, but I went long and then I ended up with a loss. Alright, and what does your counterparty say? Let's check the chart. Let's see what happened. It's something unequivocal, because there's a correspondence between the time and the price of things that happened, things that belong to the past. What you need to make money in the market is this, to operate in a future area. And can you operate in a future area? No, I don't know anyone who works in the future. So what would the solution be? The solution is to remove time. And then people say to me, but how can I remove time? I've removed it for you. How? Here it is. What do we have here in front of us? A Cartesian plane. On the Cartesian plane, we have the axes. What do we have here? A price distribution. We have a cloud of prices. On the x-axis, let's put dollar yen, euro yen. Now I'll ask you the same question. Where is the money? It's everywhere in this area. It's over here, it's over here, it's over here, it's over here, and it's over here. In every direction, there's a possibility to make a profit. The thing that makes the difference is, from this current point right here, does information exist or not to make money? Does information exist or not that helps you develop intuition? Of course it exists. Let's suppose there's a rise in dollar yen at the 150 mark. I start to identify this whole area. Where could euro yen be when dollar yen is in this area? It can only be found in this specific area here. So if I hypothetically assume an upward movement, I have information that the rise in euro yen will be confirmed by the rise in dollar yen. Let's suppose a drop, I don't know, 148.88 dollar yen. Where could euro yen be? Euro yen could be anywhere from this area here to this area here. Do we have any information? Of course we have information. What could a drop in the dollar yen trigger? A rise in the euro dollar. Is it that difficult? What distinguishes jMathFx from the time price paradigm? It's just that here in the area where I need information, that is the area where I have to make money, I have no information. With jMathFx, on the other hand, I have information. From the current price, I have information. Here, from the current price onward, I have no information. Here, from the current price, I have a series of information. Can you see the information? Where is the information? Can you see it? Are you able to see the information? Can you see? Can you see the information? Can you see it or not? What are we talking about? What am I talking about? Does information exist or not? Beyond the fact that a person then has to train their brain to filter information to understand information, but here you can't say that information doesn't exist. And information in a business is essential. If I start making mistakes here because I go long on dollar yen and then dollar yen goes down, do I understand or not understand the reason why I was wrong? Of course I understand. Here truly begins a completely new and innovative approach in which a mistake is fully understood, deeply understood, thoroughly understood, and finally completely got it. This is the difference. If in this scenario, from the current price, I expect an upward movement, aside from the fact that I need to understand how I could have imagined that from this line onward it could go up. On what basis do I decide that from the last candle onward the price will go up? I even find it funny, all those people who make videos and draw trajectories. But trajectories of what, exactly? If a price, especially in the currency market, the price of a currency is tied to the fluctuation of another currency that makes it up. I mean, these things really show the level of ignorance that's being spread. And most people don't care about this, whereas I do care about what I say, because when someone speaks, when someone shows something to others, there's always the risk of making a fool of yourself, and people just don't care about that. The more you know about something, the more you tend to keep quiet, because it's so easy to be proven wrong. So, can you explain it to me? Let's suppose that from the last candle onward, I saw, I don't know, some saint. Can you believe me that saints exist? If you believe that from this point on I see something, then you also have to believe what I see, right? Isn't that fair? Let's suppose I saw something. I go long and the market goes down. On what basis can I understand my mistake if I don't have any information? I don't have any information here. Can you understand that? Can you see the difference? If I decide to go long on dollar yen here and the market doesn't pay, it goes back, dollar yen drops. What do I understand from that? That in this area here, there is a force pushing dollar yen down and I'm not seeing it, I'm not observing it, and to understand it, what do I have to do? I don't know. I could open Swiss franc, maybe start thinking that Swiss franc yen is contracting. The contraction of Swiss franc yen causes dollar yen to lose value. And I hadn't noticed this, probably because I didn't have a global overview of currency movements right in front of me. So based on this information, it's necessary to have a 360-degree overview of the movement of all currencies. So I need to be able to observe the entire market at a glance. It's that simple. We have the whole market, we're observing the entire market. Do you have any idea what kind of optimization all those monitors, all those charts, all those traders who brag about their walls of monitors are actually achieving just to observe what, exactly? Stochastic processes. They're not aligned and they don't correspond to each other. Here you only need one monitor, just a laptop to make money. You have the entire market's fluctuation optimized on a single screen, and that's not all. You also have the information. If a market contraction occurs, you already have the price trajectories mapped out. Everything is tracked. You tell me what you want to do, lose money or build something concrete for your future. Work based on reality or mathematical logic, or keep making up imaginary trajectories in areas where no information exists.